Welcome! Line 2. Chippa in the third person. After listening to my last episode under the tutelage of Pom-Pom's keen ears, I realized that you did not tell me to go away and pick up sticks, but in fact told me to go to Which Way and pick up some hefty bags. So, we're just gonna have to delete that last message. In fact, what do you mean that doesn't work? Oh, wow. Anyway, hey guys, welcome back to Chippa in the third person. I'm in a mood this morning, as you can tell. Those of you that don't know, that was a reference to Homestar Runner, the greatest website, flash animation insanity ever created by man. But in fact, it was created by the brothers Chaps, who are more than men, involved in Yo Gabba Gabba and a bunch of other things. Check them out. They're still doing videos every once in a while on Homestar Runner, but man, that was my Monday morning. We don't go to class if there isn't a new Strong Bad email. What function key do I gotta press to make that happen again? Love that stuff. Anyway, you guys should go check it out if you've never seen it. It's wonderful. It's weird. It makes no sense. Don't try to make sense out of it. It's just wonderful. Yeah. Tragador, the Burninator. Last night, in order to, feel good, make myself happy, I drank bourbon and watched Audition, as you do. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Audition. It's a film by Takashi Miike. Takashi Miike has made more movies than anyone, or is getting way up there. He just doesn't stop working. But Audition is a particularly icky one. It's not a happy film, but I was in the mood. He gets classified sometimes in the torture porn category, but again, that's not the whole movie. That's the big third act climax, and wow, is it a doozy. Spoiler alerts ahead for Audition. I won't go into the gory details, but I had a question for the internet. Figured people might be able to help, or wax philosophical, or, just have a conversation about something that weirded me out about it. So, this movie, along with films like Funny Games, are definitely in the category of wanting to mess with the audience and who you're supposed to be rooting for. Of course, you could take this movie as a feminist allegory. All of the nastiness and everything in the film is directed towards men. The men are shown to be kind of like, oh, we can just do whatever we want. We'll hold a silly audition for a movie and give women hope. And, it's just so you can pick a wife. And that should be a trophy for her, because wouldn't she just be great to be your wife? But they don't do much outside of that to make our main character seem like a bad person. In fact, they kind of, when you get into his head a little bit later, it's kind of revealed that, okay, no, there's some depravity and really fucked up shit going on in there. And he kind of uses the people around him and this and that. But they do a weird way of melding that in, that you're never quite sure if you should be upset or happy, or indifferent. It's very gray area in a lot of its stuff, and I love that about it, because man, does our little villain slash heroine slash traumatized, horribly abused woman in this movie, deserve to be in the pantheon of really messed up horror villains. It's kind of similar to what they did in the Saw movies around the fifth or sixth one, where they started, making you feel kind of bad for Jigsaw. This one, you definitely feel bad for this girl, but when you see what she's doing, it's, oh God. And also, it's, once you start looking into the guy's brain a little bit, you realize that, okay, maybe she had a point, but the movie's never clear on what exactly went down between them. So it's all very strange. But there's a particular thing. So in the movie, it's hinted on by this guy's friend that, maybe we need to watch out for this girl. It's not something I like about her. Something I don't like. And her boss, the person that she gave as a reference, as the boss from a music company, has gone missing. And when he confronts her about it, she kind of gives him, well, I was just using that as credibility. I've never actually met the guy. And that immediately makes him stand down and gets him into a false sense of security. The Duncan guy. But anyhow, something that always struck me as weird is you always see her apartment and there's this bag on the ground, which is revealed during a dream sequence, which I'm going to get to, of what was going on in the bag. But she's just sitting there waiting for the phone for days, waiting for him to call. So this is calculated. She's an assassin, like, as far as this is concerned. And you realize, she's been abused and used and horrible things by all of the men in her life, and she's taking them down one by one and calculating who she attacks. But this guy has never seen her apartment. We have, as the audience. We've seen this bag and have seen her apartment. But there's this incredible reveal during, she eventually drugs him after, hearing about his son and his wife, and she gives him this, "You can love nobody other than me," and that's her reasoning for what she does to him. Also on the, you held an audition just so you could take women out and have sex with them. Have you done this with all of them? We know he's just done it with her, or at least we're hoping. Again, there's more reveals, but I'll get there. But then, as he's passing out, he has this series of fever dreams that go through him piecing together little tidbits. Maybe this is his vision of her, but like he had met a guy at the old music studio, she said, the ballet thing where she couldn't work anymore, and his feet have been severed and he has prosthetic feet, and he gives her, he like starts cackling like a crazed individual. And then he has visions of her being tortured by him, which, okay, maybe he's piecing this together. He did see the burn on her leg, so that makes sense. But then he sees her cutting off his head. Now, does that happen? Is he somehow getting telepathy from her, or is he just envisioning it? That's one thing. Cool imagery, but not quite sure the sequence of things. And maybe that's intentional. I'll get to that in a minute. But then we cut to him being in her apartment and tripping over the body in the bag, the bag, and out comes a body of a man with no tongue, missing some fingers, missing both of his feet. Now, maybe he pieces this together by seeing the guy with the prosthetic feet in the ballet place, and then hearing from the other place she said she worked that a year prior the owner had been found dead and cut up, but there was extra body parts in there, so maybe that's what he's thinking. But the issue I have with the scene, and maybe it's just me trying to think too literally, and this movie is more like a Lucio Fulci kind of thing where it's meant to go beyond that, no pun intended with the beyond. Was that Fulci? Brain shutting down. Anyway, but all of these visions and all of the other ones seem to make sense. He has the vision of the missing body parts. That has a place to tie together. He has a vision of his son's girlfriend making a sexual advance on him. So then they get into his head. Okay, maybe he's a little more messed up than we think. We find out the reason he's got this clingy office worker in his business is because he slept with her once, and then nothing ever came from it. And she seems to be the person he's saying he needs this whole time, a nice woman. We realize because this girl we'll find out what's about to happen to him, he's so attached to her, not because she's perfect from a equal standpoint, but because she's someone who's been through trauma, so it's someone who can be submissive to him, that he can feel superior to. All of these things are revealed about him, and it's an amazing turn of the cards for the film. But it just always bugged me that this big, crazy reveal of what's in the bag happens in a dream sequence, and he never could have seen this bag. So that's where I get into the Funny Games allegory, where Funny Games, if you've never seen it, and again, spoiler alert for Funny Games, is a movie that promises to be a torture porn film and then only shows you, only gives you the awful things happening to the family. And the whole point is it's supposed to be like a power fantasy of overturning the villains, right? That's with the villains torture and abuse and hurt people, and then we get we get to fight them back. The movie robs that from you by the villains having full control over the film. So when that happens, the guy goes, "Where's the damn remote?" Goes around, grabs the remote, hits pause. The movie you're watching pauses. He hits rewind, and then he's able to stop them from turning the tables on them. So they are fully in control, which takes the fun away from it, which is pointing the lens right at you and saying, why do you enjoy stuff like this? It's a really amazing thing, and my brother absolutely hates it because he doesn't like the freaking lecture. At least that's from a while ago, but both versions of Funny Games are worth seeing. But that leads me into thinking that maybe the point of this part from Mike in Audition is that not only is our main character being messed with, but at this point we're being messed with too as the audience. This fever dream is not just his, it's a visual fever dream for you. To go, hey, guess what? This is about to get really messed up, and it's revealing things from the story for you that maybe were just pieced through. So that's the argument I'm using for it, but it's still, I can take the visuals of him being in her apartment because that's for us, but seeing the bag and having that be a big crazy reveal for the movie just feels like a little bit of a not enough info for that reveal to make sense to me. After this, it's revealed through him waking up. He's been paralyzed, and she starts torturing him, and there's body parts removed and needles being stuck deeper. I can't say it in Japanese, but or Korean. Is it Japanese or Korean? I think it's Japanese. I always forget with Mike. I see too many damn foreign films. But anyway, there's that. So if someone has any thoughts on Audition and why the bag reveal makes sense in the context of the movie, because I don't know if that's just in our main character's head. Maybe all of it's something that never really happened. I have no idea. But, let's talk about it. Anyway, so that's Chippa in the third person for today. Trying to make myself feel better by watching Audition. What a idea that was. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. See you on the other side. Bye.